ladies and gentlemen, to this edition of the 700 Club. Some time ago, I was in transit in an airport in the New York area, New Jersey, or wherever, and the driver of the bus in transit was from Jamaica, and he said, "Sir, do you know what TSA stands for?" I said, "No, what does it stand for?" He said, "Thousands standing around." And we've got a story about those thousands today.
Yeah,
thousands.
Most of them passengers, waiting
passengers,
to get through there.
but the people, 60,000 of them. It's called the Transportation Security Administration. It is one of the biggest boondoggles that we have ever witnessed. And if you've been a traveler on the airplane, you say, what are those clowns doing?
Well, the TSA has become a major government agency, but some security experts question if we even need it. David Brody has the story from Washington.
Ever since the TSA was created after 9/11, it's had its fair share of PR problems, from patting down crying 3-year-olds in wheelchairs to distraught passengers claiming sexual harassment. And now, more problems. A new government report details poor work habits, including sleeping on the job, not reporting for work, and stealing people's bags. The misconduct involving TSA employees has increased 26% in the last 3 years. And in hearings this week, Congress was demanding answers.
TSA should have no tolerance for such behavior. The American people demand accountability.
One TSA agent was suspended after trying to carry a relative's bag through security without screening it. Inside, plenty of items that were not allowed.
Somebody bypasses the screening process, somebody takes a bag around a checkpoint. That's a serious offense. That stuff needs to be immediately corrected.
And yet the report shows that just 17% of the agents reported for misconduct are being fired. Nearly half, 47%, are only given a letter of reprimand. Congressmen say punishments have to be stricter, but TSA officials are pushing back.
A letter of reprimand means that you're not going to get a bonus that year, possibly. You're not going to get promoted. It's going to stay in your jacket. It's a serious thing, sir.
The TSA problems and its size have been growing for years. It's run by the Department of Homeland Security. And when it started 10 years ago in 2002, it had 16,000 employees and a budget of around $1 billion. Now, the TSA has close to 60,000 employees, and the budget is at almost $8 billion. James Carafano of the Heritage Foundation doesn't believe that's taxpayer money well spent.
We built this massive, huge, expensive bureaucracy post 9/11 because people wanted government security guys, when the reality is just a well-supervised security workforce in the private sector could do just as good a job.
Despite its growing size, supporters of TSA say it's trying its best to protect America from terrorist attacks. And they point to how they've gotten rid of those controversial scanners that took nude X-ray pictures of travelers. They now say they have devices that show a less intrusive image. But critics like Carafano say all the complaints are secondary to a larger issue. Should a government bureaucracy be handling these security issues?
I'm sure that a majority of the people working at TSA care about their country and want to do the right thing. But the reality is they don't need to be government employees.
But the government-run TSA seems here to stay, and that means more controversy could well be on the way. David Brody, CBN News, Washington.
Thanks, David. When they set it up, it was a giant make-work program for folks that the administration wanted to put on the payroll. 60,000 people now standing around, interfering with the way you fly. They don't know what they're doing. Some do. Some are very proficient, obviously. But many aren't. And many are not trained, and many are, in one of those congressional hearings, they found a supervisor who was teaching people how to steal from the passengers' luggage that was going through those
Wow.
things.
I say send them to El Al and train them the professional way.
The Israelis, Terry, know how to target potential terrorists. Rest of them, they don't bother with.
We would call that profiling, I think.
That's right. But you got a little 3-year-old in a wheelchair, and then the poor child is screaming, and these people, and then these intrusive body searches are unreal. What they do to women and men, unreal. and it's a hunting ground for sexual predators. The whole thing is a mess. And it just shows the government shouldn't be doing things. And when they start doing something, it is expensive and it's inefficient. The private sector could do a whole lot better.